Hi, I'm Katie Slater with JesusWired, and with me today is Amanda and Aaron of Fight the Darkness Ministries. It's great to see you two again.
It's
It's
great
great to see
seeing you
you.
again.
Before we dive into the main subject of your ministry, how about we start off with some information on who you are as individuals and your individual testimonies? You want to start us off, Amanda, or you want to?
Aaron, you can go
I
ahead.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I accepted Christ in my life. Went back in high school. It was in Michigan, my freshman year in high school, and I knew, who Christ was before that, and I accepted Christ in my life at the camp on the last day of camp. But like during that, where I accepted Christ, middle school and high school were very tough because I was very, very bullied in high school through middle school, and knew who Christ was. But when I accepted Christ in my life, after that whole thing happened, me accepting Christ, the bullying just got worse. My freshman year, I was on school grounds. I got hit by a big piece of blacktop. He actually was inches from a temple and killing me. And the doctor said I was very, very lucky from, that accident, that incident. And then back in my sophomore year, I was bullied, and where a situation where I was at a youth yeah, a youth retreat. Let me get it really dark in here. um where I was at like a youth retreat thing. I was running, got tripped by a kid because he wanted to take my best spot on the basketball team, and um where I fell on my right arm, and I fractured my right arm from that fall. And then my junior year, I had to have a scope surgery where they had to move my kneecap up, took out tissue, basic scope surgery where I should be on crutches for like a month or so. Um, I for like maybe a month to less than a week. It would vary on how the surgery went. But I was on crutches for 9 months because I had complications from the surgery where my knee swelled up so badly the doctors lose my right leg to a really bad infection I had where my body was rejecting the surgery, and the doctors thought that was a really weird coincidence that happening. And then um the bullying, still happened throughout the whole situation. Like I was on crutches, and the kids would try to steal the crutches away from me when I'm sitting there and I can't go anywhere. And then my junior year, I was thinking what I want to do for college. And then I decided I wanted to be a youth pastor because I grew up in youth, Youth for Christ, middle school, high school years, and where I love going there. And so I decided to go to a college in Illinois, and I was on IEP and learning disabilities, and I had ADHD in high school, and I was on IEP and all that. And the school that I got accepted to and decided to go to in college knew I had all that, and they accepted me. And about a month into going to college there, they told me I needed to go to the dean's office. Like I got a call, and they brought me in the office and told me that they don't feel like I would be able to succeed there. Um, where I would need, they don't have the help there that I would be able to like succeed and accelerate through college at a, you know, acceptable, acceptable grades and all that. So they told me I have to leave. My friend's brother went to that college, and it was a break, like a spring break or a fall break, some kind of break they were having. And I came home, and that night I felt so worthless that, you know, I just felt so worthless because I told thought myself, I'm seeing all my friends in college, going to college, and seeing them succeed, and I'm got sent home from a college, so I felt so worthless that night, and I told myself, if this person does not answer in one ring, I'm actually going to kill myself. And I was going to take a bunch of painkillers that were my parents, and the person that I called actually answered in one ring and talked me out of doing it. So that's when I decided, it was a couple years after that, I decided to do the ministry back in 2013 where I wanted to help others, with their struggles in life, with bullying, um, suicide, and depression. And that's when I started the ministry back in 2013. Want to share
That's
your
amazing.
testimony?
Well, my testimony. As a kid, I grew up in church. My dad was management for Walmart, and so they wouldn't tell them exactly when they were gonna switch stores, and we had to move all over. And so from, kindergarten through high school, I went to so many different schools, so many different cities, so many different moves that impeded on my social skills and my ability to trust. That and I had a next door neighbor who was our babysitter, and he sexually molested me from when I was a first grader to a fifth grader. So that also depleted my capabilities to trust or open up with anyone, and that led me to self-mutilation and having an eating disorder because I was severely made fun of, and I wish that I would just disappear. So I just starved myself, and I would throw up whatever I had to eat. And then I have well over 100 scars from slicing my wrist and my thighs and my hips. And then I graduated high school a year early, not for a good reason. I started drinking when I was 12, and I used it as a coping mechanism for all that I had gone through as a child. And I one day got drunk as a skunk at school and had vodka with me, and I got expelled from school. But because I'm a little brainiac, I took a bunch of tests and wrote a paper and graduated a year early.
Wow.
But I was through so much stuff, and then I went to college for a year at University of Toledo, and that was more partying and getting into bad situations. And then I dove deeper into drug abuse and alcoholism, and I was so bad that I was homeless, living in my Nissan Quest minivan for a really long time. And then I kept going and dating people that were the most abusive, manipulative, crappy people.
Yeah.
The last person that I dated before my accident, he made me move to Ypsilanti, Michigan for 3 years to get me away from family, to basically be able to control me in every single way. He had all my passwords to everything, my banking password, demanded my phone each night. And if he saw that I didn't do anything that he wanted, or I bought something that he didn't like, he would disable my debit card. So I was basically a marionette doll. And the night that I fell, I had escaped home because my ex was being physically and emotionally violent. And so I escaped to my parents' house. And that night, at about 5 o'clock in the morning, I went and I tried to use the bathroom, but I picked the wrong door. And I fell down 15 wooden stairs and landed face first on the concrete basement floor.
Wow.
That completely destroyed the frontal portion of my skull and my eye sockets. It threw me into a deep 3-month coma that I had less than a 10% chance of waking up from. I had respiratory failure, a giant blood clot, and so many other things. They didn't use a pressure machine right after my first craniotomy, and that caused my brain to swell astronomically, and it was being cut by the jagged edges of the rest of my remaining skull. So they had to do an emergency craniotomy and take out the frontal portion, like the remaining frontal portion of my skull, so my brain wouldn't be cut even more. So I had to live without that for like a month. And then the third one, they didn't test the pieces of skull that they put back in my head well enough, and bits and pieces were dead. So I have a giant hole on the top of my forehead, my hairline,
Yeah, I see.
a giant indent on my
Right.
forehead, and my temples are kind of sucking in. But and I have like divots and indents on the top of my head. And then I have some throat diseases, subglottic stenosis, stridor, and I had respiratory failure. So every 3 to 5 years, I have to go get my trachea sweat stretched. And I got epilepsy from my giant accident. And because of all my tracheal and respiratory problems, if I have a grand mal, my trachea collapses and it goes like flatline. And so if I didn't have my dog, I'd be 10 feet under. My parents got me a little German Shepherd puppy when I was able to come home from the hospital a couple days a week. And it was a little German Shepherd puppy because my dad always wanted a German Shepherd. And my mom was like, that's too big of a dog. Anyway, without any training or anything, he knew when I was going to have a seizure like 20 minutes before.
Wow. That's
He
incredible.
would geek the heck out and like jump and get my mom and my dad and then lay on me. And so my parents knew to go and get me to the hospital.
3. Yeah. Tell about your time for 3 times.
Oh, yeah. Little fun fact here. I died 3 times.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I died 3 times. The second time was during my giant emergency craniotomy, and I was dead for over 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah,
5 minutes?
5 minutes. They almost pulled the plug, but God sent me back.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's absolutely remarkable. And everything crazy happened in threes. Hold on. 3-month coma, 3 craniotomies, and I was on 3 different ventilators,
Wow.
and I
That is
died 3
amazing.
times.
And
And
yet you're here.
how many days was Jesus dead?
3.
Yeah, so it's a God thing.
Oh, definitely. Both of your stories are God things. Like,
Mhm.
you both should be dead. Like, God definitely
Yeah.
has protected you. It's
Yes,
amazing what He will
absolutely.
do.
Mhm.
And I've signed paperwork for a couple of my doctors to be able to use my story to help their patients. So I might be saving lives and I'm not even in the room.
That
I
is
got psychologically analyzed and evaluated so many times
Mhm.
because they couldn't understand why I was just happy, positive, and ready to take on the next challenge. Because typically TBI patients are depressed and suicidal,
Yeah,
and I was the exact opposite.
opposite. Because you knew who was protecting you.
Yeah. I'm just a total weirdo in that fashion, I guess. I bust the norm in all categories.
Don't we all?
Yes. I just have documented proof.
Yes. That's I can't even begin to think of what God has done in your life. That is amazing.
Yeah. That I'm a veteran too.
And you're a what?
I'm a veteran.
Oh, you're a veteran. Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I was a 74 Delta, which is a chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear specialist in the Army.
What?
Yep.
That's so over my head. You just said you're a really smart person.
We used to joke that we were the brains behind the bombs, like the nukes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, science is
Brains
not my
before bullets.
department.
I was one of the national anthem singers at the 3rd Chemical Brigade at Fort Leonard Wood too.
Wow.
So I got some pipes.
See, I'm learning all these new things. Like we talked briefly at KCF, but I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
And you would never know. My mom has alopecia, which is an autoimmune disease that destroys all the hair follicles.
mm,
And I was bald too, because craniotomies and whatnot. And I called us a little twist on an old soap opera. We were the bald and the beautiful.
I like that. That's
It was
cute.
fun.
Yeah.
And then she had oral cancer last summer.
Oh no.
Yeah. And her dentist found it because it just looked like a canker sore.
hmm
And it ended up being cancerous, but it was stage 1. So that was completely controllable. But her surgery was longer than all 3 of my craniotomies.
Mm.
8 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They had to take out her entire like upper palate, 5 teeth, some of her jawbone, and we're throat buddies with a tracheal breathing tube. And she's got a scar
Wow.
so much smaller than mine.
That's crazy. But she's all right now.
Yeah, she's completely cancer free. We're both miracles in that fashion.
Yeah.
The one surgery took it all out. She didn't have to have chemo or radiation.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But God, the world is going to try and tear you down, but God.
Yep. They can't figure me out. They can't figure my mom out because it's all God.
Yep.
You can't put a pen and paper to his miracles.
Exactly. And speaking of which, do you guys have a favorite Bible verse that inspires you and helps you?
We have a couple Bible verses that we love that we use for our ministry.
One is Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The next one that we do is Deuteronomy 31:8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. And the last one is Matthew 7:7-8. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks, the door will be opened.
Those are amazing. I love them.
They coincide with everything that is our ministry.
Yeah. You guys mentioned your personal testimonies. How did the two of you meet?
We met on Christian
Christian
Mingle.
I love that.
I think I messaged
Yeah.
you first.
Because I'm shy when
Yeah.
it comes to stuff like that.
And how long were you on Christian Mingle when I messaged you?
Just like 2 weeks.
Yeah, she was on there for 2 weeks. I messaged her.
Yeah.
And I think I was on there that day. Like I got on there that day and messaged you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we found that we have too much in common.
Is that a good or bad thing?
Well, we're both left-handed. We both have
Oh,
green eyes. Both of our dads are immigrants. Um, both of our moms are lactose intolerant.
wow.
And just a cluster of so many other things.
My dad's from England,
Yeah,
and her dad's from
Germany.
Germany.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So we're both the first generation born in the United States.
That's really awesome. Do
It's
you
just
speak any
crazy.
German?
Nine.
Nein.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Sprechen Sie English?
Sprechen Sie.
I don't know if you guys know, but I went to Germany. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I
No,
knew
I
that.
didn't.
Yeah, I went to Loud and Proud this past year, so
Yeah.
I learned like 6 words.
Well, if I need anything or need to know a German word, my dad's completely fluent.
Awesome.
So I was like, Dad, can you write this or say this?
I love
And
that. That's really
I
cool.
have a giant German eagle tattoo on my arm.
Oh, that is really cool. I love that.
I
My
got it from
German friends will love that too, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Um, so now that we know who you are, what
Mhm.
exactly is Fight the Darkness Ministries and how did it come about?
Fight the Darkness. I started in ministry, Fight the Darkness Ministries back in 2013. Because I wanted to talk about what I've dealt with, with depression, suicide, bullying, what I dealt with in my past.
Mhm.
And how
So,
God had you
eh,
overcome it
yeah,
and
and
heal.
how I overcame came it, and then how it healed me. So I wanted to help, people with depression, suicide, surrendering, bullying, drugs, alcohol. And I started in the metal scene. Um, my first show was in Indiana. It was with Forever at Last, and the other bands were non Christian bands. It was the Color Morale, Ice Nine Kills, The Animal in Me, and then I just did a lot of metal shows. And then I eventually got connected with the protest, and they got me, helped me with the ministry getting in Indiana and get me connected with people with KCF and Pit Fest and all them events. Um, but that's how I started the ministry, and then we just go around to doing conferences and camps and concerts and festivals right now.
And I have a really good way to help people with substance abuse and
Mm.
alcohol addictions
Cause she,
because I've been through it. I've been to AACA and NA, and I have those personal skills of understanding absolutely everything, the withdrawal, the craving, what happens when you get clean, like what's the physical effects, the mindset around why you need it
Yep.
is the biggest step to recovery. What are you hiding from? What are you running away from?
Yep.
So I'm
Awesome.
able to help them so much more because I
You've been
fought
there.
through too.
Yep.
And because I started when I was just a tiny little youngster.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually been there too. I have not quite like that, but alcohol abuse for sure. It's hard, and I'm so glad you're a part of that ministry and helping people. It's much
mm,
needed in this country.
And I'm a musician. I've been playing piano since I was 4, guitar since I was 11. And so I've played shows all over Toledo, Bowling Green, Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, Perrysburg, all over. And we would get free booze and free drugs.
Mm,
So just me sitting down, singing and playing,
yeah.
the way to get it. So you
Yeah.
gotta take them out of the situations where they get it.
Yeah.
Have them cut ties with anyone that provides it or also does it.
mm.
Yeah.
You have to start fresh.
Exactly. Speaking of your ministry, are there any events that are coming up?
We have one August 26th, Urge. We are setting up a table. It's mostly a back to school event
Oh,
for
awesome.
middle school and high school kids that for a youth group, and they only have two bands there, Beeless Boys and a worship band from a church. And then September we're doing a festival in Indiana. It's new to us, but it's been around for like a year or two.
Okay.
And Essence is playing it, and
Oh,
then
awesome.
the Josh from the Protest is actually doing an acoustic set all by himself, which is gonna be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then we have Pit Fest. We're doing Pit Fest this year
Again.
Those are all great. I love the protest like the protest boys. They're all
Yeah.
amazing.
They are amazing. That they are one of the main people that has helped the ministry when I first started it out. They were one of the first people to, help me and help me grow and get on different shows. So they've been there for me through the ministry.
I love that. Before we end this interview, is there anything we have not covered you want to mention?
I have nothing else.
If you feel like we cover anything that you're dealing with, or that we've had a taste of what you're living in right now, you can always reach out to one of us.
Yeah.
We have our own Facebook page and our Instagram page, and I run them both. So when you message me, I get it immediately. So you'll always have someone immediately to talk to.
And then if anyone wants to have us come to their event, we like to, we do youth group camps, festivals, concerts. You can message the Facebook page or email us at fightthedarknessministries@gmail.com. And I'm the one that runs the email. So I get it on my phone, so I'll see it right away.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Thank you guys so much for everything you do. It was great talking with you two again, and God
Good
bless
talking.
you and your ministry, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
You too.